Hi, welcome back. This is Mark Mancini with VRB Outstanding, and this week's episode is on logos and house names. Thank you for joining us this week. We're going to talk about logos and house names and branding. In a previous episode, we talked about specialty advertising and branding. So I invited Rick Bernstein from MBM Advertising back again this week to discuss more detail about logos and branding and house names to further enhance the repeat customers and having your home stand out above others who either don't have a name or a brand or logo, or have something very generic.
Very important. You laser engraved the Oasis logo on a coaster. We did that for you. And so we took that logo and we created a one color version which could then be laser engraved, because some of the detail would not work if you're not going to be printing it in color as it's shown here. Mm-hmm. So again, knowing somebody's going to use it for various things which you may not even imagine that you're going to be using it for. Again, laser engraving, printing, embroidery, whatever it may be, it's kind of important to give that some thought. So definitely, whether it's me or anybody else, give that some thought ahead of time.
Yeah, and you made a great point that I didn't realize when I first started with my business ventures, because we've known each other for over 20 years, and if you haven't watched previous episodes we've done, Rick's done logos and promotional items for a multitude of my businesses. I had 3 or 4 businesses he's done work for me, and one business I had for 15 years, Twisted Technologies, he did that logo. Very simple, but very effective, and allows it to go single color very easily, and again on multiple different things, but it's a logo that T with that Ethernet or that spring that kind of going through it, people recognize. And in Atlanta and technology, people saw that T, and it was definitely something that had remembrance, just like that Nike swoosh, right, Rick? Mm-hmm. That's a good example.
Yes, you definitely, and I'll bring it back to what I said before, was that it's so important to have one logo, but have a one color, have a color version, because something I didn't mention before is there's an expense sometimes with certain things to do multiple colors. So with embroidery, it doesn't matter, but if you're going to screen print something, there could be a potential expense doing a 3-color, 4-color, 5-color logo versus having a 1-color. Many items don't allow more than 1 color. So I'll show a couple items that I showed previously. So, this bottle, is laser engraved. So there's a 1-color version, but then there's a different one that allowed us to put a full color version on. So most corporate logos always will have 1 color and multiple color versions. And it will definitely be helpful to do that initially, though, as opposed to designing it, let's say, as a full color logo, and then later realizing, oh, I can't use that logo for something. So design it initially with the thought ahead of time. Realize that you're going to put it on multiple items.
And that's an excellent point, because I've seen some really cool logos people have done for their home, but they've done them, and you can tell, like I said, it was a neighbor who the kid was maybe artistic and creative, and they did it totally in colors, and it's just so hard to reproduce. And they didn't think about, if you're putting it on a pen or anything else, you really need to have that 1 color. And one I'm thinking of in my head, I'm not just saying a name, makes it real hard to do that. And so, for the investment of I don't know how much it costs for you to do a logo, but it's worth it, right? I mean, you're investing in your brand and in your short-term rental, right?
Yeah, there are agencies that will out there, graphic designers, companies that will charge a very large amount of money to design a logo, and it's really not necessary at all. We don't charge a lot of money because it's not all that we do. Basically, I look at it as just a small service that at least I know that when we design a logo for someone, that we already know ahead of time that that logo may just go on a pen. And so if you have a round logo with a lot of detail, and I have to print it in a half-inch height space, it's never going to work. And I try to explain that sometimes, and it doesn't always translate well, but we do our best. And with, again, with corporate logos, typically you'll see all the best logos. All the big companies, they will have multiple versions because they'll have a vertical version, a horizontal version, a full color version, a 3-color spot logo, and then a 1-color very simple logo that may be used, for in areas that you can't do a full color. So it all depends, but it's definitely, give it some thought ahead of time. Definitely recommend it.
And you start talking about that, Rick, and all I could think of is some of the most recognizable logos in the world. And not only are they fairly simple, they're usually monochrome, and they'll have multicolor ones, but you'll know by the monochrome, whether it's the T for Tesla, the simple SpaceX, because I'm an Elon fan. Or it could be a Starbucks logo, something simple. Yeah. Now, short-term rental can pizzazz it a little bit, and it probably should spike it up. But this is where you don't go to the novice. You want to go to the professional, because you're investing in this, and let's face it, they're going to get a logo, and they're going to have this as long as they have their short-term rental, or even when they sell their short-term rental, they're going to pass it on to the next owner, right?
Yes, one of the things that we do, and I know this is probably for another conversation, so I won't go into it in detail, but we do web design. And when I'm going to do a website for somebody, I will tell them, show me websites that you like and show me websites that you don't like. Same thing goes for a logo. Show me things that kind of catch your eye, show me things that you do not like. And sometimes that we have that conversation, not always. Very often people come to me with something they already have drawn up. You can show me something on a napkin that you drew up, and we will then work from there and come up with something that you're happy with. So it doesn't simplicity, I think, can be really important, because as you mentioned, some of the most iconic logos like Coca-Cola, it's very simple, really. It's not complex. So it doesn't have to be something that is full of colors and full of detail. It can be. It doesn't have to be.
Well, Rick, you did mention something about domain names and websites that is definitely going to be a topic for another couple of episodes, I'm sure, because there is such a great importance to have that web presence and have that logo front and center on your website, just like I have on mine. And we're definitely going to go into that. And I just want to finish up on something you said, so that we've been doing this for a while, and we know this, but some people don't. You had mentioned laser etching, putting it on pens, embroidery, screen printing, and these are all different processes, and that is why the logo has to be done by someone in the industry. I've been in business for 25 years, and I learned early on, and because I met Rick, and he woke me up, because I was one of those guys who was given bottle of wines as gifts, and just not the smartest branding person in the world. He helped me create my logo first, after I had the company name, and then we took it from there. And it is important that you do things methodically. It makes your specialty advertising person's job a lot easier. And Rick, I appreciate your time coming in here, because you've been doing this for 30-something years, I know, and you've done small companies, you've also done large companies, and you've got a breadth of experience.
Well, thanks for having me on.
I thank you. Well, it's been a great talk, and again, thanks for watching us this week on VRB Outstanding. Don't forget, we have our courseware at VRBOutstanding.com, the only short-term rental course that gives you a money-back guarantee. That's how good we know it is. We're going to see you again next week with another new episode, so stay around.